Fire has always been a force of nature that symbolizes both creation and destruction. It is a raw energy, untamed and powerful, capable of shaping landscapes, forging steel, and warming homes. Yet, the same fire that provides light can also burn everything to the ground. This duality is not just a physical truth, it is a metaphor for the forces that drive societies, nations, and civilizations. And America itself has been built on fire, the fire of ambition, the fire of dreams, the fire of determination. From the early settlers who braved the unknown to the industrialists who reshaped the economy, fire has been at the heart of progress. But the question we must ask is whether the fire that burns in America today is the same fire that once fueled greatness, or if it has become something else, something uncontrollable, something that no longer builds but consumes. The fire that drove the founding fathers to draft the Constitution was a fire of change, a desire to break free from oppression and create a land where people could govern themselves. That fire required courage, intellect, and resilience. It was not about destruction for its own sake. It was about tearing down old structures to build something better. The American Revolution was not just a war fought with muskets and cannons, but a battle of ideas, of principles, of the belief that men and women should be free to determine their own destinies. That fire created a system that inspired the world, a system that has lasted for centuries. As America grew, fire continued to play a role in its expansion. The Industrial Revolution saw factories rising from the ground, powered by steam and flames, creating opportunities that had never existed before. The railroads, built on sweat and steel, stretched across the continent, connecting people and businesses in ways that reshaped the very fabric of society. Fire was at the heart of this progress. It fueled the engines of change, allowing the nation to move forward at an unprecedented pace. Entrepreneurs, inventors, and workers alike harnessed this energy to push the country to new heights. It was a fire of innovation, of perseverance, of a relentless pursuit of something greater. But fire is not always controlled. There were moments in American history where the flames burned too wildly. The Civil War was one of those moments, a time when the fire of division overtook the fire of unity. The same passion that had once united the nation now threatened to tear it apart. Brothers fought against brothers, and cities burned as the country faced its greatest internal struggle. Yet, even in destruction, fire has the power to cleanse and make way for renewal. The war ended, and from its ashes, a new America began to rise, one that was forced to confront the reality of its divisions and work towards something better. The 20th century saw another kind of fire, one that burned in the hearts of those who fought for civil rights. This was not a fire of destruction, but a fire of justice. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. carried this flame, using it to light the way forward. Their fire was met with resistance, with violence, with an attempt to snuff it out. But true fire, when fueled by righteousness, does not die easily. The civil rights movement proved that fire could be a force for positive change, that even in the face of overwhelming odds, it was possible to stand firm and push forward. As time moved on, the fire of ambition led America into new frontiers. The space race saw a nation that once conquered land now set its sights on the stars. The fire that burned in the hearts of scientists, engineers, and astronauts propelled mankind to the moon. It was the ultimate symbol of human achievement, a testament to what could be accomplished when fire was used to inspire rather than destroy. It was a reminder that progress requires risk, courage, and an unshakable belief in something greater than oneself. But fire is unpredictable. In recent times, the flames that once symbolized progress and determination seem to have taken on a different nature. There is fire in the streets, fire in the rhetoric, fire in the anger that simmers beneath the surface of society. Protests turn into riots, debates turn into shouting matches, and the once unifying spirit of the nation appears to be cracking under the weight of its own divisions. The same energy that once pushed America forward now threatens to consume it. Social media has added fuel to the fire, spreading it faster than ever before. Information, misinformation, outrage, and fear. All of it spreads like wildfire, igniting emotions and deepening the divides. People no longer see each other as fellow citizens, but as enemies, as opponents in an endless battle for ideological supremacy. The fire of progress has, in many ways, been replaced by the fire of rage. It is no longer about building something better, but about tearing the other side down. History has shown that fire can be controlled, but only when there is the wisdom and discipline to do so. When fire is left unchecked, when it is fed by anger and fear rather than vision and purpose, it consumes everything in its path. America has always been a nation of fire, but the kind of fire that burns today will determine the future. America's story has always been fueled by fire, a fire that burned in the hearts of those who believed in something greater than themselves. From the earliest days of settlement, there was a hunger, a drive, a relentless pursuit of something more. The people who came to this land were not content with what they had. They wanted to build, to grow, to push beyond the limits of what was known. They carried within them a fire of progress, an energy that could not be extinguished by hardship, failure, or opposition. This was not just a fire of survival, it was a fire of transformation, of ambition, of an unshakable belief in the promise of a better future. The American Revolution was one of the earliest and most defining examples of this fire. It was a rebellion not just against British rule, but against the idea that people should be controlled by forces beyond their will. The revolutionaries were driven by a burning desire for freedom, for self-determination, for the right to carve out their own destinies. They faced impossible odds, yet they refused to let the fire die. Every battle fought, every sacrifice made was fueled by the belief that a new nation could rise from the ashes of oppression. It was not just a war of weapons. It was a war of ideas, of principles, of the conviction that all men are created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights. As the nation grew, the fire of progress continued to burn. The Industrial Revolution ignited a new era, one that saw America transform from an agrarian society into an economic powerhouse. Factories rose, cities expanded, and the landscape of the country changed forever. Entrepreneurs and inventors carried the flame forward, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Railroads connected the coasts, steel built the skyline, and machines revolutionized the way people lived and worked. This was a time when ambition burned brighter than ever. When the American dream became more than just an idea, it became a reality for those willing to put in the work. But progress was not without struggle. The fire that drove the nation forward also created friction. And that friction led to some of the greatest challenges in American history. The fight for abolition, the Civil War, and the struggle for civil rights were all battles fueled by competing fires, one of oppression and one of liberation. The civil rights movement in particular was a testament to the power of fire when used for justice. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. carried the torch, refusing to let hatred and fear extinguish the flames of equality. Their marches, their speeches, their unwavering commitment to change were driven by a fire that would not be put out, no matter how much resistance they faced. Innovation and progress did not stop with social movements. America continued to push forward, reaching for new heights. The space race was another defining moment, proving that fire could take humanity beyond the boundaries of Earth itself. The determination to land on the moon was not just about beating the Soviet Union. It was about proving what was possible when human ambition was set ablaze. Scientists, engineers, astronauts, and visionaries worked tirelessly, driven by the belief that no frontier was too far, no dream too big. The sight of the American flag planted on the lunar surface was not just a victory for the nation. It was a symbol of what could be achieved when fire is harnessed for greatness. Throughout history, the fire of progress has always been at odds with forces that seek to contain it. There have always been those who fear change, who resist new ideas, who try to hold on to the past even as the world moves forward. Yet, time and time again, the fire has proven stronger. It has burned through barriers, through oppression, through stagnation. It has driven America to lead in technology, in industry, in human rights, in exploration. It is a fire that does not accept complacency, that does not allow for mediocrity, that pushes individuals and society to keep striving, to keep reaching, to keep building. America has always been a land driven by fire, a relentless force that has shaped its history, economy, and culture. From the moment settlers arrived on its shores, there was a hunger for progress, a deep-seated belief that a better future could be forged through hard work and determination. This fire was not just about survival, it was about transformation. It was the energy that pushed people to move west, to build cities, to create industries, and to dream beyond what was known. It was a fire that refused to be extinguished by hardship, struggle, or adversity. The American Revolution was one of the earliest and most defining expressions of this fire. It was not just a military struggle, but a fight for ideas, for freedom, for the belief that people had the right to govern themselves. The revolutionaries were not content with simply enduring British rule. They sought to create something new, something unprecedented. The fire in their hearts fueled their courage, their sacrifices, and their unwavering commitment to independence. This same fire would go on to shape the very foundation of the United States, embedding within its Constitution and laws a spirit of self-determination and ambition. As the country expanded, the fire of progress continued to burn. The Industrial Revolution transformed America from a nation of small farms into a global economic powerhouse. Factories rose, railroads connected vast regions, and new technologies revolutionized daily life. Entrepreneurs and visionaries like Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, and Henry Ford harnessed this fire, pushing the limits of industry and innovation. Their work reshaped society, creating jobs, opportunities, and a new way of life. The skyline of cities began to change, reflecting the ambition and determination that fueled the nation's growth. This fire was not limited to economic advancement, it was also the driving force behind social and political change. The abolition of slavery was one of the most significant moments in American history, a battle between those who sought progress and those who clung to the past. The Civil War, though devastating, was a testament to the power of fire when used for justice. The fight for civil rights continued long after the war ended, with leaders like Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman carrying the torch forward. Their determination, their resistance against oppression, was a reflection of the same fire that had built the nation. The 20th century saw the fire of progress manifest in new ways. The civil rights movement of the 1960s was another defining moment, a time when individuals refused to accept injustice and demanded equality. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and countless others fought tirelessly, their words and actions igniting change across